I don't know what just happened. I don't know if I accidentally pushed something or what, but um, I was reading this R. Kelly book I have called Soul Coaster: The Diary of Me, and for some reason it let me read like for a while, and then all of a sudden I don't know if I accidentally pressed something or what, but it just cut off. I have no idea. I ain't got time for the voodoo spirits. I really don't. I'm gonna try this again. I'm going to try this again. Now, we are currently reading Soul Coaster: The Diary of Me by R. Kelly. Where's I at? I'll read it again. My mother was my dad too, so to speak, because she raised me on her own. Her husband Lucius became my stepfather, but no disrespect to him, he was not my real father. As a kid, when I first understood that my father left my mother when she was pregnant with me, I wasn't really upset about it, but it hurt. Thankfully, I had someone who was a genius at being a mother and a father too. Though I never met or seen my father on special occasions like Christmas and birthdays, my siblings' fathers would come by and take them shopping for toys and clothes. I never got jealous, but I do remember being sad and curious. In fact, one day when I was about 11 or 12, I decided to go ask my mom questions about my father, like, who is he? Where is he? And why doesn't he come and take me out for my birthday or bring me anything for Christmas? My mother would just roll her eyes, look away from me, and say, "Don't say nothing to me about that no good son of a bitch, because the minute he found out I was pregnant with you, his coward ass left, disappeared in the wind," she'd say. Didn't want to have nothing to do with either you or me. I remember my mother's eyes on one of those days, close to blood red as the anger grew and grew, while she talked about my father as if he was the devil himself. I remember my eyes getting baby blood red too, because what my mother loved, I loved, and what she hated, I hated. It was that day, that moment, that I decided to hate my father, not knowing really what hate meant or having a clear understanding about love. She told me on that day to never mention him again. "I'm your mother and your father," she said. I promised her that I'd never talk about him again, and I never did. I remember taking the word father and putting it in a little brick box in the back of my mind until now. My mother was a woman of strength, love, and courage. courage. I'm sorry. She always felt like what we didn't have, God gave to us. Whatever you ain't got, God gave it to you. So count it all as joy, she would say. Now, most people won't believe this because I'm talking about my mother, but Mama Joanne could sing her butt off. People said she sang like Last Night and Aretha Franklin mixed together. Every time she opened her mouth to sing, whether it was in church, in the club, or outside on the porch, I would watch the people to get their reactions. My mother is the reason why I fell in love with old school music. Today, the closer I stay to the real soul of music, the closer I am to the spirit of my mother. To me, she is the soul of music. I was 5 years old in 1972, and already music was all over me. Music was my mother, and my mother was music. When she was out of the house, I was never quite right. When she came home, I felt safe. My mother was my comfort zone. All I wanted was to live in the music with her. The first time mom let me go with her to hear her sing, my heart started hammering so hard. I thought that I was straight up on my way to heaven. It was one of those sweet summer nights in Chicago when the breeze comes off Lake Michigan and everyone wants to go outside and enjoy it. I was holding my mother's hand, walking down the street to the nightclub where she and her band, the Six Pack, were going to play. My mother had grown up with music in the house. My grandfather was a musician who played blues guitar and used to do gigs playing B.B. King's numbers. When we passed the original Regal Theater, Mom ignited my imagination with stories of legendary black artists who had once played on that stage. Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, The Supremes, The Temptations, B.B. King, James Brown, and even Lil Stevie Wonder. Al Green's at the Regal tonight, Mom said. Chicago South Side in the early 70s was music in motion, bursting with the Southern blues roots and deep urban rhythms just like us. And among Chicago folk, no one was bigger than Al Green. Let's. Oh, my nose is itching. Let's stay together, love and happiness. And I'm still in love with you were everyone's favorite achievements. I love I'd love to hear all my mother said as she looked up at his picture, but I got some singing of my own to do. Got my own show to put on. Outside the little lounge where mom was going to perform, she turned me over to the drummer in her hand, a big man with a big laugh and a wide smile. The club wasn't having a 5-year-old walk through its front door, but my mother knew they weren't watching the back. Before I knew it, her drummer had scooped me up, hid me in his drum case, and carried me inside. As the band started to play, I opened the lid to still a peep. My eyes went wide. I was amazed. Clouds of smoke, swells of laughter, women's sweet perfumes, the strong smell of cigars, the stink of whiskey. I knew that something big, something exciting was about to happen. Everything about the place thrilled my soul. The jukebox was playing Marvin Gaye as I waited on my mother to come out. She was in the back room getting ready like always, smoking a Winston and drinking a Miller. She was taking her time. The longer the folks waited, the more she knew they want her to come out and sing. Finally, Mom appeared. She was wearing her only stage outfit, a silky black dress with gold sparkles up and down the sleeves. She was a heavy-set woman, flawless brown skin, brown eyes, thick eyebrows. She looked beautiful. She was beautiful. She made her way to the front of the band. No stage, no curtains, no introduction, just her stepping up to the mic, strong as she could be. And when the band kicked in and she let that first note go, I still get goosebumps just thinking about it. She smashed the night, smashed the crowd, smashed the song. First song she brought out was an Aretha Franklin number singing "Don't Send Me No Doctor, Fill Me Up with All Those Pills." Got me a man named Dr. Feelgood, and Lord, he takes care of all my pains and ills. Me, I had no pains and ills. I had me a mother who could sing. She didn't dance, didn't wave her arms, didn't do any tricks. She didn't have to. Miss Joanne Kelly was a stand-up, straight-up soul singer. Peeping out of that drum case, I saw how the people loved her. She took that midnight train to Georgia, leaving the pits behind. My mother didn't need no pits. She had enough voice for four singers. She was tearing the roof off that little club, and me, well, I was cherishing every minute. The joy of music was the joy of my mother, and as far as I could tell, mine ruled the world. All right, y'all. Now this chapter is called Lulu. I don't know what happened to it. Just cut off that last video. I love love. There's no one on earth more romantic than me. I've been in love with love ever since I can remember. I've always loved the idea of having a girlfriend. I love the closeness, the sweetness, holding her hand, kissing her cheek, whispering words of affection, and hearing her say that she feels the same about me. Okay. My first girlfriend was named Lulu, and she was so special. Though we were only 8 and it was puppy love, I believe she was my first musical inspiration when it comes to love songs. I can still smell the fragrance of our innocence. Lulu and I had a very special bond that, even at our young age, felt futuristic. Ours was that kind of bond that young people talk about when they say they're going to grow up and get married and just be together forever. And though it sounds much like a fairy tale, it's what me and Lulu believed in our hearts, and nobody could tell us anything different. Sometimes Lulu and I would play house. We build a make-believe house out of a big cardboard box that we put in the backyard. We cut out openings for windows and hung fresh paper towels to look like curtains. We took crayons and drew little decorations on the walls. We got a towel to look like a rug and placed it on the ground. We did everything we could to make it pretty. Outside the cardboard house, we had a make believe kitchen where Lulu served me a make believe lunch. We sat on the tile and drank make believe coffee just like our mothers did. We just sat there and looked at each other. Lulu had light brown eyes and a smile that made me smile. In our make believe dream house, Lulu and I made a vow to be girlfriend and boyfriend forever. Okay, I guess. Let's take a walk, Rob. Lulu said to me one day. It had rained earlier, but the sun finally came out and walking sound good. We left my backyard hand in hand. Little 8-year-old me was floating on love. Across the street on Concord Drive said Bacon Hill Elementary School. A wire fence had been built to keep kids away from Thorn Creek, which rushed like a river between Bacon Boulevard. I mean, Bacon. I'm sorry, I'll keep saying Bacon. And the railway line. I like the river, said Lulu. I like looking at the water. Me too. Although there was a sign on the gate that said danger, keep out. There was also a hole in the fence that beckoned us in. The rains and swollen thorn the rains had swollen Thorn Creek. The water flowed faster and stronger than normal. We were fascinated just to look down at the water, which had a rhythm of its own. After a while, a bunch of other kids came along. They were laughing and carrying on. One of the kids, a boy bigger than me, said, "Hey, this is our river. What you doing around here?" "River belongs to everyone," said Lulu. You can't own the river." "Hell, I can," said the boy as he stepped up to Lulu. "I say it's my river and y'all get out." I stepped in front of Lulu and said, "We were here first. We're not leaving." "Out," the boy screamed. "It's our river too," I screamed back. With that, the big kids started pushing and shoving, and one of them pushed Lulu so hard she fell backwards into the water. Before I knew it, she was struggling to get out. I reached for her, but the fast moving current, stronger after the rain, was carrying her away. I didn't know how to swim, and neither did she. The other kids were running away, and she was screaming, "Rob, Rob." And I was screaming, "Lulu, Lulu." Suddenly, she was out of sight beyond the river's bend. I started yelling out for help, but I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was hysterical. I was jumping up and down. After what felt like forever, some grown ups arrived and I explained what had happened and followed them downstream until they came upon the big rock. There was Lulu, her head crushed against the rock. She wasn't talking, wasn't moving, but there was a lot of blood coming from her head. "Lulu can't be dead," I screamed, but the gash and the blood and the women moaning told me what I didn't want to hear. I wanted Lulu to come back. Wanted this day to start over. This time, me and Lulu wouldn't go inside the fence. We wouldn't go near the water. We'd go back to our cardboard dream house and sit on our make believe rug. We'd go there and live happily ever after. Death couldn't be this real. Lulu's life couldn't be stuffed out like this. Snuffed out like this because some fool pushed her too hard. It didn't make any sense. Lulu couldn't be dead. She's alive. I knew that I'd be seeing her smiling eyes soon as I woke up from this dream. But it was no dream. It really happened. That night I was still in a state of shock. Mom, sensing what I was dealing with, pulled me close to her arms and said, "Wasn't your fault, baby. You couldn't do anything to save her. Lulu is in heaven now. She's with the Lord, sweetheart. And you with me. It's okay to cry. Cry all you need to, baby, because I got you. I'm with you. I'm right here." My mother's were help, but she couldn't change the awful truth that Lulu was gone. I kept seeing her caught up in the current, reaching out for me. I heard her scream out to me, watched her washing Lulu away until she disappeared, gone forever. A beautiful butterfly lost in the raging storm. Wow. All right, y'all. So the last live stream before I accidentally cut off, I read about him just doing the introduction. He spoke about his mom and how he felt about her and told that his mom was a singer and stuff and she used to perform at clubs and stuff. He talked about losing his girlfriend at a very young age, his first love interest. Crazy, right? Oh, that's crazy. Hold on, y'all. I'm over here looking at something. All right, y'all. I'll be back. I'll probably come back on later and finish reading. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. Share my videos with your friends and family, and stay tuned because, like I said, I'll probably come back on a little bit later and finish reading.